When I made my servant leader review, you know, the Gambit scout that has more zoom than the Lorentz driver, I said this. And for the Crucible, real quick, if you really want an all-around, on any map at any given time, fast-firing scout, Trustee is there, but you should also look out for Contingency Plan. The 2x zoom, it's going to feel a little bit better dueling on these maps. It's going to feel a little bit more normal. A low-key weapon this season is the Viced Arc Rapid Frame Scout Contingency Plan, and these rapid-fire frames are actually really good. And remember, I feel like I need to say this, these are full auto, hold down the fire button. And using it game to game, I kept asking myself, is this somewhat of a dark horse, a sleeper pick? And I think so, I do, I'm convinced. And I want to explore why that is. On the surface, it doesn't look like much, but in game, it works, and it works well. I've had nice 50 kill games with this thing, you can do some really cool things with it. But the main issue out of the gate is its drop rate, it's a world drop. You turn in tokens to Banshee, maybe get lucky with an Ingram here or there, and with a weapon like this, just like Legal Action, you don't see too many of them because a lot of players don't have the right roll just yet. That was me. I've had a number of them drop, and the combinations that they had weren't ones that I wanted to cover for this review. The ones that I did keep, and you will see, Outlaw Frenzy, Firmly Planted Frenzy, that's for PvE. Also Outlaw Elemental Capacitor with steady rounds, it gets to 92 stability on a Void subclass. But the one you're mainly going to be seeing and gave me the go-ahead to make the review is this Firmly Planted Kill Clip roll. I'll talk about it more in depth in the perk section. These rapid-fire frames are essentially an auto rifle with near infinite range. That's how you should think about them and use them. It has the built-in base scout 2x zoom. And being a scout, it does offer champion capabilities in PvE, also for arc shields. Though I'm going to talk about PvE briefly, I do believe that the Servant Leader is actually a superior PvE scout. Pretty much infinite range on that thing with this 2.6x zoom, there's a lot to like there. But that's a kinetic scout, so the contingency plan still has a place in your loadout. Base stat wise, a couple of things to pay attention to. With these rapid fire frames, they are coded as a scout, so even though the range stat's at 32, it still hits at 68 meters of range. And when you start to stat this thing out, you should go up a little bit, adding range in a category by the barrel or mag. And yes, that does help accuracy, but it is coded with that 2x zoom on a scout. It has very good initial and final accuracy after shooting multiple shots. All the stats are pretty midline. They're fine. There's nothing really to worry about. The appeal as a whole, full auto, again, basically an AR with infinite range on a PvP map. Very important, they're the most relaxed TTK weapon in the game when it comes to a primary. They do 47 to the head, 28 to the body, and that's a .93 TTK. And that time to kill is achieved with 3 crits and 2 body shots. So if you're flinched, maybe you miss some headshots, it can still achieve that .93. It's ease of use. Long range, full auto. The .93 competes because you have to think, the moment a 140 hand cannon misses a shot, it could be they hit you in the body, they could be out of range, it could be because you flinched them with a rapid fire frame. The .87 on those shift to a 1.2. And something to really understand, and I'll talk about it with my perk combination. With these, you aren't doing the things that you would do with a hand cannon or a traditional auto rifle. You live outside that range. Those weapons really start to struggle to compete past 35 meters against you. That goes on any map. And within that range, you can still duel them. Meanwhile, again, you have that ease of use 3 crit 2 body. That TTK does shift. A 5 bullet kill is the .93, 3 head 2 body. 4 bullet kill is a .69 TTK with 4 crits, and a 3 bullet kill is .46. Yes, you can get a 3 bullet kill, and I'll show you. For the barrel and magazine, honestly, you're going to be slotting out best available. A lot of us are looking for a perk combination, a certain one, so if you land that perk combination, that's the hardest part. You're just going to stat it out from there. But I do believe that Arrowhead Break is one of the top plays here, or Fluted Barrel. With this weapon, to duel with the recoil direction being vertical is important. You can get by with the base 53. It's going to be a little bit jumpy. And on the other hand, you can get pretty high stability on this thing. It's not going to be too severe. Arrowhead Break is going to bring that recoil to 83. It's also going to add +9 handling. There's a lot to like right there. I have Arrowhead with a counterbalance mod on this kill clip one that you've been seeing. Brings the recoil direction to 98. I value that. Perfect vertical recoil. After that, Fluted's really good. It's going to make it more snappy. +14 handling, +5 stability. Any barrel's going to work, even full bore. Just slot out best available. Slot out what gives you the most overall stats with the least penalties. Magazine, this thing rocks a base 17 rounds. Really good. PvE, you can extend that and be fine. PvP wise, accurized or steady rounds. Steady rounds gives +14 stability, -4 range. You're going to be fine. And more than likely, your barrel is going to give you a little bit of range to offset that. But if it doesn't, it's still going to be okay. This brings us to the perk pool. And guys, this is an incredible perk pool for a scout. It has everything that you need. That range stat, if any inaccuracy comes into play, the perks compensate. They actually overcompensate. These perks make Contingency Plan shine, and before I get into the perks, I'm about to make a bold statement, possibly controversial. I want to elaborate on something, as I'm using this scout making this video. And by the way, when I make videos, my creation process, I actually do a traditional introduction body closing. Body's usually 2 parts, but I'll record audio, render and edit clips to each section, watch it, and if I need to add or change, I can. So basically I do videos in 3 or 4 parts and just move along until I get to the end. It takes a little bit longer, but that's my workflow. I made the intro, I've played more, and I think I know what's going on. Why this thing's amazing, it makes sense as to why this works so well. Understand that the sandbox has gone through many changes, different buffs, range nerfs, range buffs. The meta unfolds. This thing is so good because you are daring your opponent to hit their optimal TTK, and you know what? They don't. We talk about it on Reddit, Twitter, talking absolutes. Well, this has a 0.8, so it's better than this 0.87. No, not necessarily. Engagement range matters, RPM matters, it all matters. People miss all the time, every game, and for some reason, players believe that they can just hit a 100% crit ratio every game, every hour, every day, every week. They don't, and some of you might not want to hear that, but that's what's going on. And what I found is that this is so relaxed, a 3-head, 2-body. There is 0 pressure on me in a duel when I'm dueling, because I'm going to hit my 0.93 no problem every time. The question is, are you going to hit yours? I found more often than not, no, they don't. And it all kind of goes together. As I said earlier, you're not really playing this like a hand cannon or a traditional AR. You're going to be full auto, essentially pinpoint accurate. The moment a hand cannon misses, I down them. The moment they hit damage drop off and they can't quite secure the 3-shot kill, I down them. Honestly, I found the only real threat in that average mid 35 meters and beyond is a pulse, like a high impact or rapid fire. The current meta matters, the current engagement range meta matters as well. This reminds me of another weapon that did this, exactly this. It was a different time, and some of you might not have played Destiny back then, or maybe you're new to the channel. If you are, thank you. But that weapon was Bygones. Bygones was back when the 150s were a thing, and it did quite well. I remember a dad meta. People got so upset that someone was using Bygones. Oh, look at that trash can beat in the back with his dad rifle. You know why they were upset with Bygones? Because they weren't landing their shots, or they couldn't. Bygones also had that strikingly similar 0.93 TTK. It did just fine, and as a matter of fact, my highest kill game ever in the 6 or 7 years of Destiny that I've played was with Bygones in the spare rations meta. It was like a 66, 67 kill game. All of it's relative. Bygones hit that sweet spot of range in that meta, just like right now, Contingency Plan is. And when you look at the 390 pulses now, they're not in that sweet spot. This RPM class is doing it perfectly. Servant Leader is a little outside because of its zoom, but Symmetry in this particular scout do well. And Contingency Plan has something Bygones didn't back then. It's the ability to do max damage at any point on a PvP map. TTK changes within range do matter. Crit ratio matters. Like a 450 auto, 600 auto, they're sharing the same range. So I can get it. Yeah, the 600 is going to be a little bit better. They're just meters apart in their dueling range, the same engagement space. But not Contingency Plan. It's free from all that, and it does it with a 3-head, 2-body. And to those that say, well, it's just not competitive, like a little elitist, oh, that just wouldn't work in a competitive setting. Bro, whenever there's a Destiny 2 equivalent of ALGS or the Fortnite Cup with a $2 million prize pool, I can promise you, I will be there in the first row to cheer you on. Until then, stop it. Just stop. This thing is great, and sure, players will hit their TTK. They will outduel you. You have to remember, always, there's another player on the end of that gunfight. It's gonna happen. People hitting their optimal TTK doesn't happen as often as you would think. The 2x zoom allows you to duel in that mid to close range really well, and you've been watching the gameplay. It's not like I'm some gargoyle statue in the back of Midtown every game. It works well. Okay, had to talk about that. So for the final part of the video, onto the perks. First perk in the first column, Firmly Planted. This is the one I wanted. This is somewhat of a dying perk. We don't really see it too much anymore. While crouching, you get plus 30 handling, plus 20 stability, and 17% accuracy cone growth, plus 80 recoil direction. Perfect on this scout. And with Firmly Planted, technically you don't need Arrowhead or a counterbalance mod. I still have them on because there are plenty of times where I'm not crouched. Accuracy is probably the most important stat in the Crucible. It's a hidden one, so anytime that you add to it, it's almost like the bullets are bigger. Larger hitbox, crits better when flinch, top tier perk. You can also crouch in a gunfight to tighten up everything. I love it. Tunnel Vision, after getting a kill, reload, you get plus 20 aim assist, so it brings that aim assist stat to 86, and then 20% more accuracy on top for 5 seconds. Add on a scout targeting and you're at the max aim assist. It's a great perk. Outlaw, fast reloads on a headshot, no distractions. Playing this scout, this is going to come up. Shortly after aiming down sights, 35% flinch reduction, and it stacks with unflinching mods. Subsistence, great perk. Surplus, another great perk for it. Brings the base stability to 75 when all 3 charges are up. It makes it snappy to 78 handling when all max abilities are up. Even at 1 or 2 ability charges, it really helps the scout. Next perk column, an increasingly more popular perk, Unrelenting, starts health regen and 80 hit points after getting a fast double kill in the Crucible or 3 adds in PvE. Thresh, more super on kills. Frenzy, main PvE perk. 50% more damage after being a gunfight for 12 seconds. Kill Clip, the main Crucible perk. Reloading after a kill grants 33% more damage. Elemental Capacitor, plus 45 handling on an Arc subclass, plus 45 reload on Solar, plus 18 on Void, and plus 20 recoil direction on Stasis with increased strafe speed. One for all, hitting 3 enemies grants a 35% damage buff for 9 seconds. You run that damage buff out and you go do it again. PvE-wise, Frenzy or One for All is the play here. The 15% continuing damage or making 35% easily. You pair that with Outlaw or Subsistence. PvP, Kill Clip is the main draw. However, for a dueling role, Elemental Capacitor is really great there too. You pair Elemental Capacitor with Surplus, and with some barrels or mods that you have, this thing hits max ability, handling, or reload. But with Kill Clip, you can get a little bit more done. It's more lethal. Any damage buff on top of Kill Clip will bring that crit damage to 75 and then that 0.46 TTK. And that is a deletion. That's a snap of a finger. They can't react to that. It could be with the insurmountable Frontal Assault build I went over in a previous video. And with Frontal Assault, that's max ability with a 75 crit. It could be charged with light, high energy fire. It could be within a rift. It's fun when it happens. Now for the pairing, the left column all works. Like I said, this is an incredible perk pool. Because if you get Kill Clip, you're looking good. Firmly Planted is S tier for it. Tunnel Vision reloads into Kill Clip. Outlaw Kill Clip. No Distractions works. Surplus is great. That main goal is Kill Clip in my opinion, and with it being a world drop, once you get it, you're pretty much done. It might take a little bit to get it though. When you do, all these perks are serviceable. My top 3 would go to Firmly Planted, Surplus, and Tunnel Vision. It's a great scout, and I hope that you get a good roll. The sight does highlight, I forgot to mention that, you can see through stasis and far away enemies. That's a nice addition. And if you wanted to use this in trials, you could. When navigating with a scout, you should be rotating around and moving to the strength of it. People are going to challenge you all the time, and most of the time, I would say at least half, they don't have the range to compete. It's a weapon that sits perfectly within the meta. Its space with how it duels meta options is really, really good. You can be aggressive and push lanes, but inside 30 meters, you have to be a little bit more on point, but not nearly as much as on point as they need to be. In all gameplay, I do have on scout targeting and unflinching. I recommend those mods with it. Get one, try it out, and have some fun. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. And if you're looking for a new controller, I am partnered with Scuff Gaming. Use the link down below and my code COOL at checkout for a discount. Let's talk about Contingency Plan down below. What are your thoughts? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.